Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. Hello there, it's Brad. The Empowerography Live Conference 2026 is happening live and in person for the first time here in Toronto in April of 2026. This is your chance to step fully into your power over 2.5 incredible days. You'll hear from 30 plus inspiring speakers, join hands-on workshops, and connect with women from around the world who are ready to grow, learn, and rise together. This isn't just an event. This is an experience that will leave you motivated, empowered, and ready to take action. Seats are limited, so head to my website and secure your spot today. All the information will be in the show notes, and we look forward to seeing you in April. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast, a platform that was created to help elevate and amplify the voices of women through sharing their stories. Today, my guest is Monica Kretschmer. She is a visionary founder, podcast host, speaker, a global thought leader advancing women's leadership and allyship worldwide. She's also the founder and CEO of the Universal Women's Network, Women of Inspiration Awards, and SupportHER. Welcome, Monica. How you doing today?
I'm fabulous. TGIF. It's Friday.
Yes, it is. And I am so excited, honored to have you here today. Thank you so much for taking and making the time to be here with me today. I am so excited to jump in and share about all the beautiful light you put out into the world through the work you do, through all the women you help, the men you support, the men that support you, and to share a little bit about your story and journey. So with that being said, let's jump right in. Now, I know through previous conversation you have quite the story, and I would love if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about that story and journey, just to give the listeners some background as to where you're coming from, where you're at now, and where you're headed.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brad. The tables are turned for me today, which is a lovely opportunity. I have my matcha bowl here and instead of my notes. I'm really excited to be on the other side of the speaker stage today. Just to share a little bit, I say that every woman has a reason or a purpose that they start their business. And I will go back to my purpose and why I started everything that I'm doing now. It comes back to a time when I was a new mom. I was 36. I was newly married and I had a baby. I became a single mom overnight with a 7-month-old child after a 15-month marriage. I know what the woman's shelters look like. I know what the wall color is. It will be forever imprinted in my brain. And that was a time of my life that seems so far away right now. But it was a time where it was life-changing. I had this baby. I was excited to be a mom. I love kids, and I had my big plan for the way I envisioned my life. But something happened that changed it forever. And I knew that I couldn't go back to my marriage. And I spent the next 7 years of what I call this 7-year journey in the court system because I left that marriage. So that was where my 7-year journey began, which was 4,800 hours of litigation, 22 days of trial, all the way up to Supreme Court. Now, I say it's a 7-year journey, but that litigation journey to get out of that 15-month marriage took me 7 years, but litigation itself took 15.
Wow.
Almost 16. Like my son is almost 20 and it really didn't stop until he was 18.
Holy shit. That is unbelievable.
And my journey has been largely led because I really developed through that course in that time. I discovered who I am as a woman. I discovered who I am as a mother. And I really there was a lot of self-discovery work in my journey and a lot of believing in myself in order to get myself through that time. I put all of those little tools in one little basket, and I'm like, I know that I was tested for a bigger purpose. And so my network and the work I do now is about putting women into the spotlight.
That is incredible. Inner strength, the resilience, the courage, just all of it to go through all of that and continue on to become the woman you are today, to build what you've built, but also going through all that, being a new parent, a new mother, a single mother at that, plus going through the court battles, plus working to support you and your son. I mean, that it just speaks volumes as to the woman you are, the human being you are, and the incredible inspiration you are to other women.
I think when you're faced with something that is out of your control, you have two choices. Either you can succumb to and give up on yourself, or you can go all in. And to me, there was no choice. I was hell bent. I would walk through fire for my son. I would walk on hot coals. There wasn't anything that I wasn't willing to do for my son. And so he was my fuel for really getting up in the morning and fighting so hard just to keep my head above water. It was just like, there's nobody. And the more they were going to try and destroy me, the more I was determined to say, not today.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever really understood my core strengths until coming through the other side, because whatever, give me whatever you think you've got to get me. I'm going to get out of it and I'm going to succeed, period.
Yeah. I'm here to take anything you want to throw at me, kind of thing. That's it.
Yeah. Like it was almost like, what now?
Yeah.
And the resilience that I built over that was just like, you're making me more, you're actually making me stronger. You're not actually tearing me down.
Yeah.
You're actually building this massive resilience muscle that I didn't even know I had.
Amazing. What did leaving that marriage with a 7-month-old awaken in you that still fuels everything that you build and do today?
So it's a belief in myself, and bar none, do believe in myself. I put myself in probably some of the most risky situations that people would be like, what are you doing? You think too big. I've had so many people tell me I think too big, and I'm like, whatever. It's turning the impossible into the possible. I think that's my superpower now, is that there's nothing too big or too unbelievable or too impossible that I wouldn't take on if I truly felt that was what I wanted to do. So I think that for me was what my superpower coming out of this.
Amazing. So during that 15 years of litigation, the 22-day trial, what inner voice did you have to learn to trust when everything outside of you felt uncertain?
So it was a belief, because there's two stories happening. There's one that is a uncontrolled story. This story is uncontrolled, and no matter what you do, you have zero control over it. The other one is what is in your control. And so I focused, instead of about the situations that I couldn't control, I put any energy that I had into the one that I could control. And so that included a mindset and everything that I can do to stay positive, because what they were trying to do is pull me down and make me appear that I was unfit, and for a story that they could take my child away from me. How ridiculous is that, right? But lo and behold, it didn't stop them from trying to succeed in that.
Yeah.
So for me, it was more or less, okay, I can't control what they do. I can only control what I do. And what I'm going to do is mentally stay strong, spiritually stay strong. And I protected myself. I was in a little bubble. I had an inner circle of close friends. And there was like a period of time during that 7 years where I didn't have the opportunity or the luxury to do frivolous things. And I'm going to say frivolous things because I was so consumed by this chaos that I was going through that I had no extra energy even for myself at the end of the day. Never mind relating to making friends, or I still did play dates when I could, but they weren't getting the whole me. They were getting the mom of a child that was making sure that he was properly socialized. So there was a period of time where I just made sure that I was doing what I needed to do for my son, and I left myself on the back burner.
Yeah.
Too largely. I was so focused on just getting through that time.
That is huge self-awareness around the piece, realizing that you only have a certain amount of control, and that's over what you do and your feelings and how you react to situations. So many people don't realize that. They don't even have that awareness. So that's a huge piece. And of course, you putting your son first, that's what we do as parents. But this is something that women constantly do, is put everyone else ahead of themselves, and they get the scraps or the crumbs that are left for them after everyone else in their lives has been taken care of.
And I realized that I did some things specifically to take care of me. And when I say that, I left myself to the end. So I was always a priority, but when it came to the hierarchy of priorities, it was, I knew I had to take care of myself, but putting my son first and taking care of what his needs were. So getting through the trial, I actually took on the goal. I knew that my body was not going to be, or my nervous system or my mindset would not be able to comprehend what I had to go through, because it was like going to be 130 days that got whittled down to 22. Like, this was huge. Something that I had never been through before. I was working full time and a full-time mom on top of that. So I knew that I had to channel some superpower energy into that one. And so I decided that I would sign up for a marathon, and I signed up. My 40th birthday coming on. So it was like a bucket list, 40th birthday. I signed up for the Honolulu Marathon. So my son and my mom, my son was 3 at the time, or 3 or 4. I can't remember. He was young, like a little bit too big to be out of the stroller. I remember, because my poor mom, right? And so I signed up for this marathon because I knew without a shadow of a doubt, if I did not commit to something that was not going to require me to put a daily me first into every day, that it wasn't going to get done. And so I completed the goal. I got through trial, and I hammered down my very first marathon after only running 5K. It's amazing what we can do as humans if we set the goals and we set our minds to achieve it.
That is incredible. You talk about putting yourself first. The first thought would not be running a marathon when you're talking about putting yourself first, or self-care, or so that, I think that is absolutely incredible.
Only thing that I had a chance to do every day, where my mom said, I'm with you on this one. We lived with her in her basement first 4 years of my son's life. And so my mom was my partner in that. She said, I'll help you. And I leaned on support so I can get my runs in every day. And it's not like I was going for hour runs every day. There was a long run that was considerably longer during the end, but it was like capsules of that 30-minute, 45-minute, 1 hour on the longer days getting closer to the race that I carved out for me. That was probably the miracle of how I stayed so mentally strong while I was staying physically strong. And emotionally, I was able to be regulating my emotions on a much, much higher level because I was so focused on that.
You would have to be mentally strong training for a marathon, which feeds into you needing to be mentally strong for what you were going through and dealing with at that time as well. So kudos to you. I think that's absolutely incredible. It just amplifies the fact that you're such a badass, and just my mind is blown. Unbelievable. So thank you for sharing that. When you look back, what moment feels like the true beginning of your becoming? Not the public one, but the private one.
So I think the private one was when I left my marriage. That was really, I had to make a choice. You either stay or go. And that was when I truly can say that was when this started. It was like, okay, I am now a mom, and this decision is going to affect myself and my son's life for the rest of our lives. And I knew that I couldn't go back. There was a line in the sand that was crossed, and it was like a non-negotiable. It wasn't even, can I go back? So from that moment of knowing I couldn't, and then I go through, and I'm still on this journey, to be honest with you, Brad. My son's going to be 20 now.
Yeah.
It's been 20 years of, I call the first 7 years survival, because they weren't survival mode. The next 7 years were rebuilding, but I was still creeping in just out of the real core survival mode, but really deep in the rebuilding mode. And then this next 7 years has been really more of the becoming, but I would say the whole journey has really been part of how you become, because it's not a moment in time. It's actually part of the journey is becoming.
Yeah, for sure.
The journey.
For sure.
And we don't actually stop.
No.
But when that switch happened was the moment I decided that I was going to leave that marriage with my 7-month-old.
Unbelievable. We are constantly evolving as human beings, so that journey never ends. We constantly have to work on ourselves because we are constantly growing. We're picking up new tools along the paths of our journeys to use to take forward with us. So it's never ending. Before you were a founder, a CEO, and a global thought leader, who were you trying to survive as? And who did that version of you secretly know you were becoming?
So I have always been extremely ambitious. If there's a plate with room on it, I am going to fill it. I've always been an entrepreneur. I started my first business when I was 23. I started an interior design company. Why? Because they didn't like my drawing perspectives at the college for interior design. So I'm like, screw that. I don't need to draw. Somebody else can draw for me. If you're not going to let me in, I'll just start a business. And anyways, so that was the start of my first business. So I always knew that I had the resilience, I had a work ethic, I had ambition, and I had tons of ideas. Like, I've always been like that. But it wasn't really until I want to say that I realized getting through the other side of the 7 years, that 7-year journey with my lawyer, because there was another 7 years without her, where I was a self-litigant. But it was at that point where I got out of that piece of it where we were done the trial now. And my lawyer and I parted sides, and she went on to her work life. And I went on, and I had a decision to make. And it was like, okay, I have 8 months and I signed an 8-month moratorium where they couldn't sue me. And so during that 8 months, it was like, I've been tested for this bigger purpose. And this is what I have to do. I can't go through everything that I went through and not do something with it.
That is incredible and powerful. And again, it speaks to the self-awareness, knowing that there is a bigger purpose for all this. I have to be going through this for a reason. And it's not happening to me, it's happening for me.
Absolutely. I had no safety net. I had a full-time job. My site with that full-time job, probably about, I would say 6 months before that, I was even part of this. There was a downsizing in the company that I was with, and I got extra responsibilities in mine. So in the company, in my job that I was working at, that was also going on with the trial and all this other stuff that I was dealing with. I was getting more responsibilities in the work that I was doing at this company. And I had actually taken on this job it was a charter company for an airline, and they were leading the federal election. Anyways, I still remember this, but the only kind of guidance that I was given for this was I was doing onboard catering for the federal election. It was like X number of dollars. The rest was under my creative control, literally. And so for 36 days, I created experiences in every city where that plane would land, out of the box ideas, where Tojo's sushi out of Vancouver, and like crazy stuff because I didn't really have a plan, anyways, I didn't have how would you say? There was no roadmap for me. I had
Yeah.
to create my own. And
Mhm.
so I did create my own. What in my world was the high bar.
Yeah.
And so when I got through that experience, and this is just coming close to my time that I was finishing my trial, I'm like, no, I am I am leaps and bounds ahead of where this is holding me back.
Yeah.
Now that I've got this done, I am tested for this bigger purpose, and there's no going back. All this is doing is going forward. So it's all these experiences that I realized my core power and my core values. And that's when I jumped in with both feet, no plan B, and started my network. I didn't have a choice. Number one, it's either take this opportunity. It's like a get out of jail card. That's what it was like to me. I kid you
Yeah.
not. Like, I love Monopoly, but for me, it was a get out of jail card. If you do not do something with this opportunity now, Monica, quickly, that 8 months could be eaten up and you could be back in the ring again with the vultures.
Yeah.
Like, you could be back in trying to, who knows what.
Yeah.
And so I jumped in with both feet and started my company.
Incredible. So you mentioned resilience. What is a truth about resilience that people don't talk about enough, in your opinion?
I think it's an absolute superpower. When you're in it, when you're in the thick of it, and you're going through that tough time that really tests you, it's no damn fun. You really just learn to be grateful for that period. I think is nobody talks about that, because coming out the other side is that you build something that nobody can take away from you. That is something you have earned, and it is powerful. And those resilience muscles, they don't go away. They keep building and building. So every opportunity that you have to flex those resilience muscles, you keep building on that foundation. And the things that become so big and scary become not so big and scary. And so when COVID came, I felt like I was the most prepared for COVID. I'm like, oh yeah, this is nothing. It was hard. It was debilitating, but it wasn't like what I went through on my own, because I was the only one experiencing it. Nobody else could possibly know what I was experiencing, nor could I include them into that. I was on that journey alone. Everybody was on that journey.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah, absolutely. COVID, get out of here. You're nothing. I got this.
Yeah,
Whip behind my
bring
back.
it on.
I'm ready for you. I've been training for this. This is easy.
Yeah. This is my marathon, man. Bring it. No, downplaying that a little bit. It was very hard. It was just like, oh my God, not again. Thank you, God.
Yeah. Yeah. What are the lessons here now? What else are you trying to teach me?
What are you trying? Okay, I got it. Yeah.
What did that season teach you then about your own capacity that you didn't even know you had?
So it's way more than a season. It's several seasons. Just about that unbelievable belief in myself that no matter what happens, I will always find a way out. And going back to the challenges that I faced, I will say the opposition thought they were tearing me down. What they were really doing is building me up. Little did those idiots know, because I'm like, hello, give me another challenge. Make my day. I knew I had so much belief in myself that I could find a solution. So I had so many years of finding solutions that you could never, like, I was training for this Olympics of solutions here. So I think that's my superpower. But through all of those seasons was that piece of knowing that there's always something more. Like and I have to say, I had somebody say, why do you always question me? I'm like, why are you always stopping with a solution? Why do you think the solution is this? Why do you stop at this? I just wanted to find a way of making it work. It wasn't that I was questioning you. It's just, I think there's a way of making it work. Like nothing to me seems impossible.
Yeah. And that's incredible to have that mindset. What I learned
is nothing is impossible.
We are capable of anything and everything.
There's always a solution. And so don't stop looking or believing or searching for that, because there's always a way out.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Why was it so important for you to build spaces where women don't have to ask for permission to exist, lead, or shine?
So this is an interesting question, because putting women into the spotlight, I've interviewed hundreds of women, And I always ask, going through the whole awards program, number one is everybody asks, did I do okay? They're always nervous, regardless of the level of success that they've achieved, about going into the spotlight, because they don't want to appear that it's from a place of ego. And what I've been able to share is that going into the spotlight is not, yes, you should be proud and loud and roaring that you're doing some incredible things, but if you don't do it, then nobody else can do it. So you are paving the road for other women to do that. And so I have these beautiful conversations with women that I see these light bulbs come on and they're like, thank you. You've now just turned it around for me, because we're taught that if we go and show, like, it looks like we're showing off.
Yeah.
But really we're not. Like, this is what we've needed to happen decades earlier. It's where we see women doing phenomenal things and really owning their power.
Yeah.
And by women owning their power, it gives permission for others to do the same. So the awards was one of these, how would you say, it was a blessing in disguise. Like, I created the award, Woman of Inspiration Awards, to honor my lawyer. That came to be because there's a cloud with her name on it in heaven called Diane. But I wanted to publicly recognize her because she said, I am just a family law lawyer. And to me, I know that she is not a family law lawyer. There is no other person that would have taken on my file. She had a firm. She was a mother, a friend, a daughter, a wife. She had her whole life that was also turned upside down because of me. She was also targeted because of me, and she kept going. And so at the end of the day, when I had the opportunity to celebrate her as our first inaugural Woman of Inspiration, September 26, 2015, that was almost like I could see the headlights from other women. Just her being acknowledged was the seed to awaken other women to go, I have somebody that I'd like to recognize, or I am a woman of inspiration. That's where it started. I had no idea of that power. I didn't go into it thinking that's what I was creating, but I continued to build and grow that over the last decade, where it's expanded globally.
And that's incredible, honoring your lawyer for the incredible work that she did alongside of you. And this, I'm just a family lawyer, like the just piece, you hear so many women using that. I just do this, or I just do. No, it's not just. Take that out of the sentence completely. That does not belong in the equation or the sentence. That's it right there. 100%.
The interesting thing is, so I still have a recording where she's standing on stage. I'll have behind the scenes. I danced to the stage that very first event. It was significant. For one, sure. I think I danced to the stage of Headley, Invincible. Because I'm like, that was my song. That was my stage intro song. And I stood on that stage that day, where it was September 26th, 2015. 8 years earlier, her and I signed a contract to work together. Like, bone chills when we talk about our purpose. But, oh God, I got lost in my path here. Hold on a sec. Remind me, where am I going with this?
Using the word just, removing that.
But she stood on the stage and said, I am just a family law lawyer. And that's why I love talking about this story, is because I built the award. Where it came from was I wanted to recognize her. I first went to the Law Society, and the Law Society told me they take complaints, not compliments. So I'm like, fine, I'll just build my own. And that's what I did. And I think it was even conditioned into the industries, certain industries where they don't value what women bring to the table. And I'm going to tell you something. I love underrepresented industries. It's like, women, if you want something to tackle and you want to make a mark and you want to do something incredible, go and fill up and search out those underrepresented industries. The opportunities are incredible. Yeah. But they were so behind there, because I think that sort of added to the whole, I'm just.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just.
For sure. Oh, you're not. No, you're not.
You're not just.
That word needs to be removed from sentences. It doesn't apply. That's it. You are, I am, as you said. You have amplified over 1,200 women globally. What do you believe actually creates a ripple effect that lasts?
Oh, validating that, seen, heard, valued. If you
Hmm.
can, there's Women of Inspiration has been such a incredible journey. I had no idea. We have the Women of Inspiration podcast, the women, like the book, where
Hmm.
we had trucks on the roadways across North America during the pandemic when we did some crazy things
I
just
love it.
because that's what I do. But I think why the ripple effect has grown so much is because when you are seen and when you are heard and you are valued, there's nothing that means more to somebody than being valued. And that is the ripple effect. And
It's a
so the awards, most women, they tell you this much of their story. Very rarely do you hear all the story. I have a vault of stories. I
I'm
have
sure
a
you do.
vault of all of these stories because the
Hmm.
nomination process is share your story. And sometimes these women, for the very first time, have put pen to paper and are talking about their story and why they're doing what they're doing. And it's phenomenal. And so when you see somebody at that level, when they've never bared their soul like that before, most of them, it validates that what they're doing matters.
For sure. Really, all we all want is to be seen and heard, and to be able to provide a space, a platform where women can be seen and heard is one of the most incredible, selfless, beautiful gifts you can give someone. It really is. To shine a light on them. And as you said, and I know I've experienced this too with the podcast, is sometimes for the very first time sharing their stories. How incredible is that you've helped this person step into and own their story and share it as, again, to use the term we've used a few times, a permission slip to do that. It gives a permission slip to other women to step up and do the same and to know that they are not alone.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah. And
Absolutely huge.
there's so much undermining the capabilities of women that, and I say that we're walking every single day shoulder to shoulder with women that have achieved so much success, personal success, professional success, and they're so humble. They're way too humble. We don't have time to be humble anymore, women. We really don't.
It's time to scream it
Forget
from the
about that.
rooftops. Yep. Enough of that bullshit.
Shout it loud, take up
Yeah,
space.
absolutely. Now, you've mentioned the Women of Inspiration. Let's talk about the other two platforms that you've created, Support Her and Universal Women's Network. Please share with us about those two platforms as well. Let's tie this all up.
So when I started, I'll take you back to the beginning. I
Mhm.
started and I decided to jump in with both feet. I was hell-bent on starting something that where every woman belonged. Because when I was going through, before I married and I was going to start my family, I was going to start and jump back in and start my interior design business, right? And immediately everything turned overnight. There was no business. It was just about survival. And so I know that there was silos that existed for women. So I wanted to create a network where every woman belonged, an inclusive network based on a shared value system, the courage, the confidence, the commitment, and the integrity. So that was really where it started from, and doing events where we're putting women into the spotlight. And we used to do events where we were hosting them in bars or clubs that didn't even welcome women. And we were doing that before anybody was ever doing them. It was wild. And it's morphed into really more of the putting women in the spotlight where we're building like the media. So Universal Women's Network is now a media company. And we do that through the awards, through the podcast, through the magazine, through the book. I'm just going to say we have some other things coming that I can't quite talk about, but it's exciting. But it's all about putting women into the spotlight. And that has become the foundation for all of these separate, wonderful offshoots that really tell their stories of women different ways. When we do the awards, it's recognition, it's celebration, it is being visible about your accomplishments and owning that spotlight. The podcast, we typically dive deeper into the journeys and the stories of women. And it's not for shock value, it's more for helping others, informing them and so that they're not alone.
Yeah.
We all are on this little journey, and most of the times we feel pretty damn alone doing the journey,
For sure.
regardless of how many people we're around. So those sorts of avenues really, I've heard people say, thank you so much for doing that, because it does, a woman to woman is pretty important. And then support her is an element that I have been it's probably something that speaks to me because my son was about 12 when Me Too was happening, and it exploded, and it was doing its purpose, which was putting the villains into the spotlight.
Yeah.
But for me, I have a son, and all I could see was the villains in the spotlight. I wanted to see some good guys. I wanted to see, it was horrible. Yes, they're being accounted for what they've done to women. But I want to see the ones who are actually doing good things for women.
Yeah.
So that's when SupportHER came to be. I just wanted role models visible. And the more that I started having those conversations, even with my advisors, I'm like, this is what I'd like to do. And they're like, this is suicide. Don't do it. And I still remember the conversation, and I'm like, I'm doing it anyways. I was that convinced that if it's a wrong mood, it's a wrong move. I know I have a women's network, but I also know that I am a boy mom, and I want him to have good role models around him. And I want them to be visible. And that's really where it started from. And so it was SupportHER is to elevate the men that were champions for women in their networks and their workplaces and communities. Because men that are champions at home are also champions in the workplace, and they're also champions in their communities and their networks.
For sure.
It's not a different man. It's the same man. And so it depends on the environment that they're in. And so my goal is that we have more visible positions of power that are male influence, that are SupportHERs leading the charge, really talking about it from a place of power, influence, because that's when the real change happens. That gives other men permission to do the same. It's kind of like the women. So that's why we need to see women in positions of power.
For
We
sure.
need to learn how they got there, but we also need to give permission for other women to do this, kind of like the man version of that, right?
Yeah.
And so we've incorporated that into the awards. And again, people thought I was nuts, but that's okay. I don't care. So we started incorporating awards for men into our Woman of Inspiration Awards. And now it's Woman of Inspiration Awards. And then we have a separate category for that we're actually building out for list of SupportHERs. And then a day that celebrates where everybody can get involved, which is International SupportHER Day, June. So every year it's a little bit different. It's the first Friday in June.
Okay.
And so that's been happening for the past 5 years.
Amazing.
This will be the 6th year. And it's just like putting a stake in the ground. I know it's not going to happen overnight, but hey, what would happen if everybody would do one thing to empower women to succeed, to move women further, farther? What would happen if we did that?
It would be absolutely incredible. This world would completely shift if more men, and I say this all the time, if more men started stepping up, stepping forward, and showing the women that we are allies. We are here to stand shoulder to shoulder with you. We are here to support you. We are here to cheerlead you. And I believe it is the only way that we are going to have massive impact in the world is if we come together as human beings. Enough for the masculine versus feminine bullshit, the warring back and forth, the patriarchy. Yes, I know all of that shit has gone on, but it's time for us to come back to center and stand side by side, stand shoulder to shoulder with each other, because that's the only way we're going to have any massive impact in this world, because all the women in the world can't do it by themselves, nor can all the men. Men have qualities and skill sets that women need, and vice versa. Women have qualities and skill sets that men need. So if we combine them, how incredibly powerful would that be? Think of the change and the impact and the ripple effect that would have across the world, because when women are supported, I believe that everything will change. It starts at home. It starts within the home first. They are happier. They're more joyful. They feel good, and they're able to accomplish more. Think of how good you feel, or think of how much you can accomplish when you're in a good headspace. the ripple effect of that, starting at home, then their communities, then their workplaces, their businesses, I think it has the power to change the world. I really believe that with all of my heart and soul.
And I believe that as well. And we hear how, the burden has been on women for so long, make these changes by yourself. I'm like, that just made no sense to me.
No.
I was just like, why are we excluding half the population? Like, we don't have to focus on the bottom dwellers. We can focus on the top thirds, ones who get it.
Yeah.
The ones who don't know, but like the idea and want to learn what they can do to champion. And the ones that will never change, let's not worry about that. Because we know that people want to work with people that they like and trust. And from a brand perspective, there's no downside to this happening because you want to build workplaces where people thrive. And how they thrive is by being valued. Men also want to feel valued. And how you give them that opportunity is by showing them what their value is. And their contribution is massive when it comes to championing women. And so I really believe that we're on the cusp of something. We've just got to start talking about it more. And I've talked about my story here. That doesn't hold me back. I was pulled down many times, almost to the point where I couldn't breathe. But that doesn't stop me from wanting to raise the profiles of the men that are champions. That gives me more fuel for that, to be honest.
I love that you're doing it. I think it's incredible. And I appreciate you doing that work for men. So thank you for that. I think it's huge. And like I said, I think it's the only way that we're going to have any massive impact in this world is to do it together. That's the only way.
Know who they are, and they've got to take the stake in the ground. They've got to start talking about it. That's how real change happens. So let's go.
It starts with conversation. Conversation is the catalyst for change. This is how we plant the seeds for people and bring awareness around these things. So we just got to keep having the conversations because they are so important. These 3 platforms that you have built, how have they become extensions of your healing?
That's a good question. I never really, through this whole part, it has been the creative part of building and creating, I think, is what has been most profound in my whole healing journey, is because I kept moving. I didn't stop. I haven't stopped. And I think my creation and the building and bringing visions to life, that doesn't ever keep me in a place where I feel stuck. I'm not going to say that I don't have my low times, because I certainly do. I'm human.
Of course.
I get, I procrastinate sometimes. I have doubt sometimes, and sometimes it's paralyzing. And then I snap myself out of it and I change it up. I go for a walk. I do something different. I throw myself off a bridge and dive into something that's completely unknown. Like, I challenge myself constantly. And I think when you're staying in the same place and you're not challenging yourself, I think that has been my secret to my evolution, is that I have been constantly challenged and I continue to grow in challenge. So I'm constantly moving. And I think that's the secret of my healing journey, is that I haven't stayed in one place.
I love it. Love it. What's a hard truth women must face if they truly want to step into their next level?
Not everybody's going to like you. There's going to be people that will copy you. There is going to be people that will talk about you. And the higher up you go and the more you achieve and the more success you achieve, the more of those trolls will be there. You just got to keep your blinders on. You got to be prepared for that.
And not surround yourself with...
you're not going to want to be... You're not going to be aligned with everybody either.
Very true.
That's another truth.
Very true.
So know your values, keep the blinders on, and just keep going.
And surround yourself with people who support you and lift you.
Surround yourself with people that support you. Absolutely.
How do you define powerful leadership in a world that still tries to box women into likable, quiet, or agreeable?
So I'm not quiet at all.
If you haven't figured that out yet.
And boxes and me have a special relationship. So I don't know. It's nothing that I don't play very long at that. What was the question again?
How do you define powerful leadership in a world that still tries to do that to women?
I would say that powerful leadership is not subscribing to that mentality, period.
Plain and simple.
That's it.
End of sentence.
I'm like,
Full
repeat that
stop.
question again. I don't even understand that question.
It just doesn't register.
That's the answer. That is the answer right there. I don't
There you
even
go.
subscribe to that question because I believe that a person with a position of power knows they don't see those boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they realize that you have to push past that. That's the truth.
There you
Can't
go.
be defined by that.
Love it. What would you say to the woman who's currently in the middle of her hardest chapter and can't yet see the why?
That's the resilience muscles. Flex them and kiss them. Like you just gotta, I don't know. It's just go to the gym, go for that walk. Just
sign up for a marathon.
Sign up for a marathon. Do it, girl. Or 5K. No, even just like, I have to say, just realize that you're in it. Realize that you're going through it right now for a bigger purpose. And it may not reveal itself to you right away. It's just like this little string. Do you see the little string?
Mm-hmm.
I cut this off a great big spool. And when I do my talks, this string is we meet for a reason and a purpose. And so sometimes we meet people and we know tomorrow what that purpose is in our lives. Sometimes a month, a year, 10 years, whatever it is. There's always a reason or a purpose that these people are in your life. So just like the situation that you're in, there's always a reason or purpose while you're going through that. It's a lesson. It's part of the journey. It's to make you stronger. If there's a hard thing, get through it. It's not going to be graceful. Give it your best. Keep your head up and know that's only meant to serve you to be stronger at the other side.
Yeah, it's for you. It's happening for you, not to you. Not the victim mentality.
And I've always defined resilience is, it is not what is being done to you, it's what you choose to do with that. So when I decided to throw myself off the cliff, jump in with both feet and start my network, it wasn't like there was a plan or a safety net, but I chose to do something bigger because that's what I knew I was tested to do. Not that it was all figured out, but I had enough belief in myself knowing that I was chosen to do something much bigger.
But at least you took the steps. There's so many people that wait and say, it's not the right time, or I don't have all the answers yet. I don't have it all figured out.
Never have all the answers.
Exactly.
Don't wait to have all the answers. And I'm continuing to build and evolve as a human, as a business leader. And that's one thing that will never stop.
Yeah, for sure. What do you see awakening in women right now around the world?
Menopause, perimenopause. They do not care. I think I see over the past decade from starting where I started, when I started having International Women's Day events, people are like, what day is that? There's an evolution that has happened over the past decade. And I see it more than others because this is my jam. But what I see women really stepping into is realizing their own power, asking for what they want. As hard as it is, asking for what they want, also questioning the boundaries and going outside and not being like they're pushing forward. They're pushing back. So pushing forward in some areas so they can go farther, but also pushing back on things that just don't feel right.
Yeah. And that's powerful. That's what we need. More of that in the world. Again, it just goes back to this world would be such a different place if all of this came to be. And it is happening. It's moving slowly, but it's happening. And people are awakening to see what needs to happen and to shift that for sure. Yeah.
And they're using their voices and their platforms, which is incredible. I think social media has can do some damage, definitely, because in the wrong hands, anything can do damage. But I think it's given women a voice. And I'm going to use Melanie Sanders as a perfect example. Actually, there's a little book right here. Do Not Care Club. She got, yes, she was a digital creator, but she got into her car and she said, I just don't feel like myself anymore, and pressed record and said, who wants to join this We Do Not Care? Because I don't even care anymore that I'm wearing 3 glasses and my bra is too small. And everybody, including me, was like, me too. No, I feel that way. And so things like that, where you're speaking up and you're being authentic, I think has really empowered a lot of women. We're the ripple effect of that. It's beautiful.
Yeah, the authenticity and the vulnerability creates that relatability for people. When they hear other people sharing, wait a minute, I'm going through something like that too.
You
I'm
mean
not
me? When
alone.
you jump on the trampoline too? Fantastic. Like adding a little humor into it.
For sure.
Catch you off guard there, Brad?
A little bit. That was pretty good. I like that. For the woman listening who sees herself in your story, what do you want her to know?
She'll be okay. And she won't just be okay, she'll thrive.
How does a woman begin rewriting the story she's been telling herself for years?
Every day is a new day, and you have the opportunity to create that day. And don't be so harsh on yourself if you get to that next day and you're still like, okay, I tried. You can try again tomorrow. There's just no stopping what our mind can do. But you can, and it was, I think Jamie Lee Curtis said this quote on stage in Cannes this past year. It was a quote that was one of her favorites that she said would be on her tombstone. I'm like, I love it so much. It's your story or your life changes in 30-second decisions, can change in minutes. And so just keep that in mind, that your life can change in 30 seconds by these opportunities. I'm a big person I say, women of inspiration don't wait for opportunities. We create them. So don't always wait for the opportunity. Create those opportunities yourself. And know that tomorrow's a fresh day. Go. You don't have to plan it out. Plant the seed and go.
We have the power.
We have our own power. And remember, did I talk about in this take about the controlled and the not controlled part?
No.
Okay. So in the green room, we were talking about, excuse me, how I worked through everything that I worked through. And what I realized was that there was a big uncontrollable that I had no control over.
Yeah.
And that was bound and determined to tear me down and to throw me under the bus. And who knows, if I couldn't breathe anymore, that would be perfect. That was the controlled. What was in my control, which is how I was able to respond to that. And so I think that is also helpful as well when you're going into every circumstance, is take that controlled and go realize that's out of your control.
Yeah.
But what's in your control, that's what you have to focus on. And so when I'd be served time and time again, and I already knew that when I was getting served with these papers and that manila envelope was coming towards me, I'm like, I know I'm going to get upset. I know this isn't going to be great news. And I know I've got to clear everything off my schedule just to deal with this bloody thing. And I don't have time for it. And so I got really good at taking control of that uncontrollable by even placing that on the bookshelf until I was ready to deal with it. So you can even turn some uncontrollable situations into control when you're able to deal with them as well. That was one of my superpowers. I learned that saved me. And that was something that how I coped through all of that. It was remarkable. It was very powerful.
And that's what I was just going to, in itself, that is incredibly powerful, is realizing what you have control over and taking control over that and dealing with it in the way that you need to deal with it.
And it can apply to absolutely anything. So women that are in these stages right now of going, God, this weight is so heavy. I don't know who to ask for help. Just think about that controlled, uncontrolled, and know that you're going to have to deal with those things. But even mentally putting yourself in a position of power, I'm going to deal with it when I'm damn ready. It changes everything.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. What do you think, or why do you think, that it is that so many women feel called to create something after they've survived something, after they've gone through, like what you went through? Why is it so integral to create something out of that?
Because if you don't, it'd be just a great big waste of time. I think that I've only shared a glimpse of this journey today, and I think I've shared a little bit more with you before. That's going to be, I'm also working on my memoir. There are definitely things that I'm like, I can't keep that aside. I can't not share that, but it wasn't the right time to share it. And I know that if I was to go through that situation and not do anything with that, like all my hard work, all the lessons that I've learned will be for nothing. Yes, I got through the other side, but I know that there's other women that could help serve. And that is the most important thing, is you are able to help and support others that are going through it so they don't have to go through that. I even have messages for women that know how to pick the right partner. Let me just say that. Like, do not even go through the car crash proposal. Don't even do that. Listen to the red flags. I've got so much information that I haven't even talked about yet.
But it's all about that service of that heart of service.
That higher service. And if you're called to do that, because otherwise, you're the chosen one. It's not something that you're going to, I'm going to be doing this when it's that level.
For sure.
You have this gut intuition that it's that level.
Yeah, absolutely. What story do you think is quietly running most women's lives without them even realizing it?
That they're not enough. It's just as easy as that their voice doesn't matter.
And sharing the
stories. They're not heard. There's so many women that I look at, I'm always observing. I'm observing every single place I go. And I may not say it out loud. Most of the times I don't say it out loud, but I'm observing and just paying attention. And I can see when I go for my walks, I go, good morning. Or when I go for my run, I like, good morning. And people are like shocked because I'm like, oh my God, somebody paid attention to me. But they almost fall over. But it's that they're invisible.
Yeah.
And that they don't matter. And that what they're doing doesn't matter. And I can see it. And the moment that you turn a little bit of the spotlight on and say what you're doing does matter and what you are contributing to does matter, regardless of that. And everybody focuses on the leaders at the top level. But I always thought what was really beautiful is to see the ones that are like our support network, the ones that are willing to help support the leaders. Those are the real champions too. Like, we don't put as much spotlight on those, but those women that are bound to determine to, they're like, I don't want the spotlight, but I support you. Those are some real champions there. And yeah, I just think being aware, but it's about being invisible.
Yeah. But without those women who are the support system, the leaders wouldn't be where they are.
Exactly.
It takes a whole team. It takes a community. It takes a village, as they say, to raise a kid. It's these women are the reason why, or part of the reason why, that there are these leaders in these positions, period.
And I honestly do not subscribe to the fact that everybody should be in that role. It's not for the faint of heart. It's just like, I am not a big supporter of, everybody should be an entrepreneur. No freaking way. Like, it is, you have to be mindset, bulletproof, resilience. You get 1,000 no's. You're like, you got to have an ulcer on your cards over there, because it is not for the faint of heart. And people, it's not easy. We don't talk about the messy enough. And I'm starting to talk about that more now. So it's not easy being an entrepreneur. I do not think everybody should jump in, because unless you have that bigger purpose or drive or support, or if you have no support, like I didn't have support, you have to have the mojo to go for it anyways. But, like, it's where you are and leading at where you are in that level. Everybody has the potential to be a leader at that level. Everybody.
I 1000% agree with you. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. Not everyone's cut out for it. It will test you in ways that you never even knew existed. It will test your resilience, your strength, your belief in yourself, your confidence, all of it. It's the ultimate test, I think, in life.
I honestly believe that my journey tested me for entrepreneurship, because how many times did I get beaten down and I got back up again? The same thing with entrepreneurship. It has not been an easy, smooth road whatsoever. I started something from scratch, and then COVID. It's wild. And I think that everybody needs to look back and see how far they've also come.
For sure. That's something that is so important to do, is to look back. And I always say that there is no such thing as competition. The only competition you have is you. As long as you can look back in your journey and see the progress that you've made, see that you've improved, that's all you have to do. As long as you're improving, you're good. That's the only competition there is. So many people get stuck in this competition mindset. This person's so much further in their journey. You're comparing your 2-year to their 10-year. You can't. It's not a
It's
comparison.
impossible.
It
Support
is.
system, financial assistance. Lots of people are handed businesses
Yes.
and they don't have to put in groundwork.
Exactly.
You know,
Just compete with
not the
yourself. That's it. That's the only competition you need is yourself. As long as you challenge yourself to improve and you are growing and you can see that growth, that's all that matters.
And bring others up with you.
Yes, for sure.
That's the purpose of our Woman of Inspiration podcast. We want to make sure that those stories are real and relatable so that we are able to say, okay, she can do it, so can you. And, you know, that power is transferable.
It's about that extending the hand down the ladder and the hand up, because there's always going to be someone up above you. So that's what the ladder is all about, helping that person below you and having that person above you help you up.
It's really interesting, Brad, because when we do those conversations, we achieve so many things with the conversations. That where you're telling that authentic story, you're making other women be seen.
Yeah.
Even you don't even see the audience that it reaches. You're already saying, "I see you," because she is going through something similar to you, or she's experienced something similar to you. And then it's the person that you're interviewing, because you put them in the spotlight, just like you're doing today, but you're actually validating my worth.
Yeah.
And so we validate the worth by doing these conversations as well. So there's a huge circle of reciprocity happening that's really beautiful when we do this. And I think that's why this world of the podcasts, the media is so important, and we need to see women in more of it.
It is, absolutely. I just wrote an article on LinkedIn about this, about men championing women and the importance of more women showing up on podcasts. It's so important for that to happen. Podcasts are I absolutely love being able to do this and to highlight and to shine a light on women who are doing amazing things. And more women are stepping into that spotlight, which is beautiful. We just need to continue it and get more women involved, because to your point, it's a permission slip for others to see and to know that, hey, this is possible for me too.
We can't keep our knowledge a secret.
No, there's no need for gatekeeping, for knowledge keeping and knowledge hoarding. It's share your knowledge. I'm a huge proponent of that. If I can share something that's going to help someone, absolutely. Why wouldn't I? We are here on this planet to be in and of service to one another. We are here to support each other. So if you have knowledge that can help someone, why wouldn't you share it? It does you no good to keep it close to the vest, to hoard it. That's not being of service.
Yep.
It's everything. If a woman listening feels the nudge to create something bigger than herself, but is terrified, what is the very first courageous step she can take today?
Go get the .com. Go get your .com. It's taking action. Plain and simple. You take action. It's always going to be terrifying. You got to start somewhere, but nothing happens unless you do. You can talk about it. You can visualize it. You can meditate on it. You can go for whatever you're going to do. You can go create a nice proposal about it. But unless you start taking action, then it becomes reality. And that's what starts momentum.
Love it. What, in your opinion, is the most dangerous thing that happens when a woman finally stops seeking permission?
The danger? I don't think there's any danger in any of that.
Well, some people would feel threatened when women step into and stop seeking permission.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see when women stop seeking permission. I think that would be a beautiful place, when women stop seeking permission.
For sure. I think it would change everything. But I think some people are threatened by that, threatened by a woman who stands in her power, who owns her power, who stops asking for permission.
But we're back to the same thing. Controlled, uncontrolled.
Yeah.
You can't control what they're feeling.
Yeah.
You're only in control of what you're in control of. And so you have no control over that, period.
So just do it. Own it.
Next question.
What do you see and believe is possible for women in the next decade?
So I believe that the pandemic did some really wonderful things for us. I think we were the most prepared for this, but I think when we look at the visibility to there's some things that women are always going to be up against unless men can start birthing babies.
Which I don't see happening anytime soon.
Danny DeVito and was it Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes.
Twins or something?
Yeah,
Was that
twins,
movie?
yep.
Unless men can start birthing babies, we're always going to have to figure out a way of doing how we're going to raise our children. But I think what will happen if we continue to bring men into the equation and actually put a value on their contribution, because I haven't seen that happening because it was all a culture of us against them and perpetuated. And I've seen it clearer than anybody. I don't want to be in a room where, like, I want to see in rooms where there's men invited. We need them in the room. And so more of that will continue to happen. And the trickle down effect on more of men being in the room where there are issues, we're going to have more champions at the table, more support hers. And that is going to really change everything. We're going to see men more participating in the work environment and to help champion for women where it's not a competition, and also in shared responsibilities, because women really do take on that shared responsibility. And so until there's an understanding, we talk about it more. And again, the pandemic opened up the visibility for that to happen, where we couldn't ignore the fact that women bore more of that responsibility. It was completely visible for anybody to see with that homeschooling. So I think that moving forward, I think that's going to be something that will change in a positive light, as long as we keep inviting men to the conversation and we value the contribution that they make, because we want to be valued as well.
Yeah.
It's a human instinct. And then we start working together.
Yeah, that's it. That's it there. That is the epitome of it for sure. If you could leave every listener with one embodied truth to carry into the quiet after this episode ends, what would it be?
Don't ever underestimate your power. You're stronger than you think, and you're able to overcome absolutely everything that is coming your way. And my only advice is to not be shy and just go all in. Just go all in.
Beautiful advice. What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
My unique superpower? I guess it's my resilience, really. And it's the ability to, and my beliefs. I don't see impossible turning it into possibility. I'm a visionary, and I realize to ignore the naysayers when they say, oh, your vision's too big. I'm like, okay, that's okay. It's maybe too big for you, but it's not too big for me. I know my superpower is to vision, to see things and to see past what others see. And yes, it is big, but that's my comfort level. If that's not your comfort level, that's fine.
Yep.
But my comfort level is the ability to see large things and turn the impossible into the possible.
I'm possible. That's it.
Right? I'm possible.
Yeah. How do you define success?
Gosh, that's a loaded question. Success is, I just say happiness. It's really about fulfillment. It's like a roller coaster. You can be feeling as successful as you want, but let me tell you, tomorrow's coming. It's going to knock you off that ladder. But overall, I think success is really about fulfillment. There has been, even when I was going through the darkest of my times, I literally had said I was happy for no reason. And it's because I was able to take in those moments of gratitude with my son and go, I am so thankful. Like, I have this little boy that it means the world to me, and I am grateful to be a mom. Not the unique situation, but I didn't focus on that. But I'm like happy. I'm happy and joyful for no reason, like literally. And so I'd say that the success is about fulfillment.
Yeah.
And you can be at the worst or at the best of your times, but are you fulfilled?
Yeah. That's everything for sure. You've got to feel that in your heart, in your soul. That's what life's about, is feeling fulfilled. What does the word empowerment mean to you, Monica?
Empowerment, I would say, is leading by example.
Okay. We're going to jump into a little rapid fire sections. The next grouping of questions just be 1, 2, 3 word answer type thing. Okay.
Okay. I might need a break. No.
What is your favorite way to celebrate?
Ooh, I love celebrating. Okay. So I have to say my favorite way of celebrating is probably just a trip. Let's go back to a little daily thing. I celebrate with like pictures. Like, I've always got to capture the moment. So my camera roll is obscene. Like I don't even want to tell you how many pictures are my camera roll, but I celebrate so much that my camera roll is like 90,000. And I've got videos and I've got photos. I believe in capturing the moment. I'm a big believer on that. And I have to say that has served me so well because I can go back to a date, I can go back to a time, I can go back to a feeling. And when I want to be lifted up, when I'm going through a hard patch, I can always go back to that feeling, emotion, and time and experience that same feeling of celebration. The milestones, huge.
Yeah.
Captured all on this little phone. There we go. Everything here, the good, bad, and the ugly is all on here.
All there. One word to describe your 2025.
Intention.
If you could teach the world
Sorry,
one thing.
2025 or 2026?
2025.
Oh, 2025?
One word to describe your 2025.
Surrender.
Okay. If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
Belief.
One book that changed your life. Look on the bookshelf.
I'm looking at the bookshelf right now. That's really hard. I don't have one. I have many. There's not just one. To be honest, I was so busy, I didn't read books during that whole thing.
Okay.
And so now I have all of these great authors, Mel and Michelle, and there wasn't one specific book that I took. Oh, hold on a sec. I'm going to tell you this because I'm just remembering one. The Power of Focus.
Okay. And
it was a book that I read, and it's many years ago.
Okay.
But it's on my upstairs bookshelf. Okay. And it's The Power of Focus. And I think that one book was clearly something that I take that changed my life. And it was something that has been a part of my journey forever.
Okay. If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
I don't know. God, that's a tough question. Just positive and energetic and unstoppable.
What is one thing you love about yourself that is not related to your physical appearance?
I love that I have, that's really hard. I'm very optimistic.
I love this. I'm stumping you. This is fun.
It's probably because it's so late in the day.
One word that defines the woman you are becoming in this season.
I'd say powerful.
That concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I created a bonus question that I did not send you ahead of time. How do you define love, both the kind you give and the kind you receive?
Unconditional.
Okay. If you were to introduce yourself to me without mentioning your occupation, where you're from, your religion, your ethnicity, your nationality, all of these things, all of these superficial markers that we use in day-to-day life, how would you introduce yourself to me?
Hi, I'm Monica Kretschmer. That's it. I would just introduce myself.
Okay.
And I would do probably a business card presentation if we were in that setting, but just as simple. Okay. Hi, my name's Monica.
All right. If you could step into my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I did not ask you?
Oh, God, that's a really good one. What's my daily non-negotiable?
Okay. What's your daily non-negotiable?
So every day I do have gratitude, and I don't write it down always, but I'm always really thankful. And that's something that has been part of my journey, getting me through all of the bumpy roads, is my daily dose of gratitude. And it doesn't always have to be something really long, but it's just a belief and saying thank you.
It's a game changer for sure.
It is a game changer.
If you had the
thankful for what you have.
Yes, absolutely. If you had the opportunity to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, who would it be and why?
Michelle Obama.
Okay.
And I have she doesn't know this. We met and I'm waiting for my follow-up call with Michelle Obama.
Okay.
Because March 23rd, 2018 was a very specific date that will be in my book. That was really, we need to have a conversation about what transpired that date, which is ironically the date that I met her, but I got like a minute with her and I gave her one of the strings, which she put her arm around me and we took that picture. So what I would love to do is have a conversation with Michelle Obama, and I'd love to tell her what happened on that date and the events that followed, because I think that she would be interested to know.
Excellent. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
Listen to your intuition.
Lastly, If you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your corner of the world, your tribe, your people, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you impart?
Well, I would tell them that I underestimate you and that you have exactly the tools and the power to bring whatever vision and dream that you want to life. Don't let anybody second guess you. Do not listen to the naysayers and just keep going. Don't stop. Go all in.
Beautiful. Wonderful way to end the interview. Monica, thank you so much for taking and making the time to be here with me today, for sharing your story, your journey, the beautiful light you put out into the world through the work you do. It has been an absolute honor and pleasure to have this time and to sit down with you and share in that story and journey. So thank you for inviting me in to this space to share with you. I appreciate you. I am so grateful to know you, to be connected to you, to call you a friend, and to have you as a member of the Empowerography community. Thank you so much for the conversation today.
Thank you, Brad. It was truly a pleasure. I'm so excited to be done. Backstory there for our listeners, but thank you for the work that you're doing as a SupportHER. And I'm really honored that you sought me out and that my story resonated with you. And I hope that your listeners enjoy it and they know where to find me.
I'm sure they will. Your story is absolutely incredible. So thank you again for sharing that. I appreciate it. And I'm so grateful to have had the time with you. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, first, my friend.
Just going to say, once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography podcast, a platform that was created to help elevate and amplify the voices of women through sharing their stories. Today, my guest has been Monica Kretschmer. She is a visionary founder, podcast host, speaker, global thought leader, advancing women's leadership and allyship worldwide. She's also the founder and CEO of the Universal Women's Network, Women of Inspiration Awards, and SupportHER. Thank you so much, Monica. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you, Brad. Take care. Talk soon.
Bye.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at viseuphoria.ca. Follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.